This is More Knowledge, More Wealth with your host, Gabriel Shahin. Gabriel is a certified financial planner and a registered investment advisor at Falcon Wealth Planning. This show does not intend to provide personalized investment advice through this broadcast and does not represent that the services or securities discussed are suitable for any investor. Investors are advised not to rely on any information contained in the broadcast in the process of making a full informed investment decision. Now here's your host, Gabriel Shahin.
Good day, this is Gabriel Shahin, certified financial planner and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth, here on every weekend, talking about all important topics of personal finance. My job is to go over the knowledge you need to increase your wealth. Now, to the listener, you can always reach out to myself or any one of our colleagues here at Falcon Wealth Planning. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, where you can get this episode and any one of our previous episodes as well. So on podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Spotify. Now, we have this Knowledge Center as well, which is through our Knowledge Center on our website, which redirects you to YouTube. We have so much fantastic content that I heavily recommend that you go look at. And if you want me to add more content in there, please send a message to radio@falconwp.com. That is radio@falconwp.com, where we're able to help answer those questions that you have and create evergreen content, because we have over 1 million views officially now. We are excited to continually produce more content for you. Now, I'm the president of Falcon Wealth Planning. We are a fee-only, non-commissioned, true fiduciary, folks, where we talk about all important topics of personal finance that relates to you. It can be where you are today, how retirement looks like, talk about taxes, investments, estate planning, insurance, folks, you name it, anything that involves a dollar sign, we can help you with. And that's why we're offering 1 to 2 meetings, 1 to 2 hours of our time, folks, at no cost to help relate this show to your specific situation. Folks, give us a call. It doesn't matter where you're located. We would love to help. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird, where we can help answer those questions that you have, that you've been wanting to get answered, because we're seeing so much information coming out right now as the markets are at all-time highs. We're seeing how these magnificent 7 stocks just continue to rise. We're hearing positive news all the way around. And of course, we're having issues with politics coming around. But now you're having people say that because we're at all-time highs, right, you can never win, is that we're expecting a pullback. And what's the biggest news earlier this week was from Mike Wilson at Morgan Stanley, one of the analysts over there, saying, hey, it could drop 10%. Okay, the market, that's what they're expecting. They are preparing for a 10% drop. I swear they just say this, just to be a contrarian, because they're looking to push new products. When the market's down, they're saying, which is more logical, that the market will go up. Well, obviously, but like the market dropping, just so you know, 10% happens about a little over every 1.5 years to once every 2 years since 1950. 1.84 years, the market drops 10%. I mean, seriously, like whoop-de-doo. It happens. It's a normal occurrence. You know what I say is the stock market? It doesn't go just straight up, right? It's a living, breathing mechanism because it's based on data that's out at the moment it comes out. So it's just like a heartbeat, right? Just like any living organism. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. You know what you don't want is a flat line. When you flatline something, you're dead. You get it? The market is a breathing mechanism that goes up and down. So saying there's going to be a 10% drop is not a big deal. It's not something I want, or is it? When the markets drop, that creates buying opportunity. So is it really bad when the market drops? Because you're able to theoretically buy more. If you're saving into your 401k, you can buy more. So you have to think to yourself, if you were looking to rebalance your portfolios on a quarterly basis, hey, we're pretty early in quarter 3. This could be a good time for a market drop. The sell-off should have already happened. So it doesn't make sense to me when I hear people like this say a 10% drop should happen, especially when it happens once every year and a half or so. It's just, I'll go as far as saying comical to me. So I start thinking to myself, how often does this happen with a 20% drop in the market? It's happened 11 times since 1950. Yet again, why do people like that 1950? Because it's really after a lot of these securities acts that happened in the 1930s, where before people don't like data prior to 1930 or 34 is because you could have just said, hey, I have this company called Joe Schmo Welding, and we make millions of dollars a year. Very easy to do. But the thing is there was no reporting of documents to say you in fact made that money. You get what I'm saying? It was just based on hearsay. Where now you actually have verified data, which is why Enron was such a big deal, that scandal that happened decades ago. So we don't want to digress too heavily into this, do we? No. Markets go up and down. With all this said, markets average over a 10% rate of return on an annual basis. With all this said. So what's this point to you? Well, let's look at, since we're talking about 1950, how frequent is it that the market hits an all-time high? Because that's why we're talking about this, right? Is markets hitting an all-time high? Well, here, less than once every 3 weeks, the market hits an all-time high. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Less than 3 weeks. And so my point to you is, what are you more concerned about? Something that happens once every 1.84 years, which is a 10% drop, or something that's happened 11 times since 1950, which is once every 7 years, which is a 20% drop in the market. Now, when you look at standard deviations of the market, right, there's multiple standard deviations. What is a standard deviation? It's that bar, it's like a line chart. It goes up and then it kind of plateaus and it comes right back down. So when you look at the first standard deviation, 65% of the time, the market does plus or minus 15%. You go out another standard deviation, well, now it's 15 plus 15. So plus or minus 30%. It happens 95% of the time. Now, you go out a third standard deviation. That's 99% of the time, it's plus or minus 45%, which is not shocking, right? To go up, it's either going to make 45% or lose 45%. It seems to me that's almost 100% of the time, but no. From a mathematical point of view, it's 99% of the time. So all we're suggesting here that it's going to hit these numbers within 2 standard deviations out 11 times since 1950. What are you so concerned with? By the way, folks, if you're just joining me, you're listening to Gabriel Shahin, certified financial planner and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here on every weekend. And we're trying to talk about all important topics in personal finance. And today we are just talking about the basic concepts, the basic idea of what's going on with the market, why these figureheads, this Mike Wilson from Morgan Stanley, and every other person every few weeks come out and says a market's going to drop. Well, you know what? A broken clock is right twice a day. That's the way I look at it. And so naturally, if somebody keeps saying it's going to drop, it will eventually drop. And I get it. I don't want it to drop, as I consistently say. But if it does drop, well, you have 1 out of 50 idiots that will get it right. So, but also know it's a normal occurrence. Now, so I'm thinking to myself, what benefit does this person at Morgan Stanley has to say that it's going to drop? Maybe it's to sell something. Like, I always think there's a hidden agenda. This industry, the financial services industry, when you're dealing with millions and billions of dollars, well, it's not the most honest industry sometimes. For example, here at Falcon Wealth, I wanted to build a firm that does 100% of the time in our clients' best interest, which is why we're not allowed to receive commissions of any kind. We are fee only. We are a fee only advisory firm, a registered investment advisory firm. That is less than 2% of the advisors out there. You have 100 people in a room. Less than 2 of those 100 people are like us. So how come people are not like us? Because you can't sell stuff. We don't make as much as the other guys, the Morgan Stanleys, the Merrill Lynches, the Edward Jones, the UBS, the JP Morgans, the Wells Fargo advisors, and so on. They make more than us. And listen, I'm not trying to say I'm jealous or anything like that. I'm just trying to say it's not fair playing grounds. But with that being said, I can give advice in manners they can't give advice. Direct tax advice. What do those advisors say? Please consult with a tax advisor. Here at Falcon Wealth, we are that tax advisor. So why are they trying to sell you the idea and thought that the market's going to drop 10%? I'm going to talk about that when we come back. We're going to take a quick little break and we're going to discuss the strategy of why to scare you. Because here, we take advantage of market all-time highs by taking our profits and repurchasing something that has done poorly. Okay, we don't make commissions on buys and sells like other firms, like commission-based firms. So what benefit does it have for you to tell you the market's going to drop? So we're going to discuss this when we come back. But if you need help with this, if what I'm saying sounds like you, where you truly have a concern, or you have an advisor trying to sell you the idea the market's going to drop, when we come back, we're going to discuss ways that we can help. But give us a call. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird, where we can answer those questions for you. Because these advisors are trying to sell you something. We're going to discuss what they're trying to sell, why they're saying this as well. Because we do know markets go up or down, but what benefit does it have to bring it up like, oh, beware? Are they trying to create a sell-off? Are they trying to create panic? Are they doing this for political reasons? Well, we're going to discuss that. We'll be right back after a few words. This is Gabriel Shahin, Certified Financial Planner, your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth. That's on every weekend. We're going over all important topics of personal finance. We're going over retirement planning, making sure you're prepared for retirement, Social Security and strategies, real estate, taxes, avoiding them now and in the future, investments, reducing fees, commissions, and so on, insurance, and estate planning. Folks, we are offering a free financial assessment that you could take advantage of. We have offices all across Southern California, including the Inland Empire. Give us a call to take advantage. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird, or visit our website, falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short. Enjoy the show. We look forward to serving you. Welcome back, folks. This is Gabriel Shahin, Certified Financial Planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth, here on every weekend, talking about all important topics of personal finance. The first segment here, we discussed just how analysts, this chief investment officer of Morgan Stanley, Mike Wilson, talking about how they're predicting a 10% drop in the market here coming up pretty soon. And then, so I just thought, how often is there a 10% drop in the market? Since 1950, it happens once every 1.8 years. That's like once every 1.5 to 2 years. And so I'm thinking then, how often is a 20% drop? Well, it's happened 11 times since 1950. So I'm thinking, well, okay, let's reverse think about this. How often is a market all-time high? Because that's why they're bringing this up, is because it feels like a majority of the indices, there are all-time highs going on right now, such as S&P 500, Dow Jones, and so on, NASDAQ. So every 3 weeks, once every 3 weeks, less than that, by the way, there is all-time highs in the markets. So it's like we're worried about something that's happening once every 1.5 to 2 years, which is negative 10% drop, and something that happens 11 times since 1950. Guys, 1950 was almost 75 years ago, and it's happened 11 times. It's like 7-8 years. Once every 7-8 years, the market drops 20%. Now, keep in mind, it dropped in 2022, 2021, 2020. I mean, so it has dropped a few times here in the past few years. But all I'm trying to say is, what benefit does somebody have trying to scare you? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm just thinking, right? It's my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. I'm not trying to make fun of Morgan Stanley. They have some fantastic advisors there. But at the end of the day, they're not fee only. Which means you have to think, when you're doing business with them, how are they making money off you? And there are commissions involved. Say what you want. So I'm thinking to myself, certain advisors there, I'm sure there's an initiative, it pays great commissions to sell an annuity. Now, an annuity can make sense for you. Maybe if it was paying maybe a 7% instant annuity, maybe in your 60s, that would be fantastic. Put 100,000, you get $7,000 a year for the rest of your life. Obviously, they'll want you to die right away. But hey, if you're 60 years old, maybe that makes sense. The problem is those 7% pay out until what, 80? Maybe in your late 60s. Why? Because they want you dying fast as possible. So I'm thinking to myself, is there a benefit to scare people that the market's going to drop? I'm thinking is, hey, the market's at its all-time highs. Sell now. I don't care about your taxes, what taxes you may have to pay. Please consult with the tax advisor. They're not even going to acknowledge that you could lose over 37%, depending on where you live, to taxes. Sell that at an all-time high, and let's buy an annuity. Oh, by the way, I get to make commissions on the sell, commissions on the buy of an annuity. This is my logical when I'm thinking of why they're bringing this up. That's my biggest logic behind it. Let's sell you into a new product. It's very strategically smart. I don't blame them. Bravo for doing so. Now, in my brain, I actually do talk to clients about market dropping. Now, it's not 10, it will drop 10% this year. Like, give me a break. Who are you to make that prediction? Like, elections coming up, a lot of volatility. It should be expected. Now, it could be volatility on the high side. Did you know that? Market could easily go up 10%. Market likes to have stability in the market. Maybe when we find out who president is, it can go up. Have you ever thought about that? Volatility isn't always down. But what gets people's attention? It's the red in the news, right? Red, bad, stop, emergency. Markets go down in red. They go up in green. So my logic, my idea, my thinking is they want you to get fearful. Hey, we're getting these highs. This could be a good time to sell. So let's buy a new product that's going to be jammed down our throat. And who cares about the tax consequences of the moves? Please beware, folks, of who you're working with. Less than 2% of the advisors out there are fee only. That's from Fee Only Network Direct. From them are fee only. These are folks that no matter how much they buy on sale, how much Falcon Wealth buys and sells on your behalf, no cost. We make no money on it. Not at all. No commissions on our end. Now, you have to think, what products are being sold at other firms? Here at Falcon Wealth, we make no money off those products. We only make a percentage of whatever we manage. And our goal is to make you money. I want to make you 10% because I don't just make 10% off you. I make it off billions of dollars that we manage. It's not about how can we sell something to somebody to make a quick buck. It's how can we win the business every single day and consistently show value on the investment side and on the full financial planning side. This is where a lot of firms get it wrong, folks. The reason we at Falcon Wealth Planning talk about market drops because we tell them it's normal. And we tell them that's why we're selling your profits now and buying your losers. Wait, Gabriel, you're selling the only thing making me money? Or not the only thing, the thing making me the most money? I'm buying something that's losing me money? Why would you do that? Well, we're not buying Enron, not knowing it's a fabricated company that's making up their financials and really doing bad, and they're going to go out of business. So we're not buying a Sears. We're not buying a Washington Mutual, Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, WorldCom. We're not buying those. We're buying an indice. Whether it's a small cap indice, whether it's a value indice, whether it's an international indice. Those aren't going to be down forever. And historically speaking, they're uncorrelated. Don't you want uncorrelated things? When something goes up, maybe another doesn't go up as much, or maybe even goes down, and vice versa. If the U.S. economy is down, not everything is down. There's things that make money. The goal of the portfolio is to build you something to get market-like return, taking less risk. This is why I talk about markets dropping is normal. Not that I want it to drop, but the consolation is you're able to buy things on sale. If you liked the Dow Jones at 38,000, you should like it at 36,000, right? You should love it, quite frankly. It's weird because it's one of the only markets in the world where people don't like sales. Sales are good. Don't think short-term, think long-term. If you're not going to need the money in 5, 10, 15 years from now, who cares? Don't pivot from your strategy. I don't care how much you have. I don't care if you have 100,000, a million, 10 million, or 100 million. Sure, a 10% drop is 10 million bucks when you have 100 million bucks. I get it, but stay disciplined. This is why the richer people get, the more they hire a professional, they hire a partner, because they get emotional. When they see that $10 million drop, they freak out. And oh, by the way, per previous history and performance, that happens once every 1.84 years. Once every 18 to 20 months, the market drops 10%. And oh, by the way, once every 7 years, it drops 20%. That's a $20 million drop in your portfolio. Where other people would freak out saying, I can't go under 75 million. Like, I don't know, they just make a number in their head. Or I can't go under, assuming they have 10 million bucks, 7.5 million. They have a million, I can't go under 700,000. They have 100 grand, I can't go under 50,000. Whatever it may be, they have this number in their head and say, I can't do it. That is undisciplined. That is not understanding how markets work. And I see it all far too often. You get emotional on your money. I don't blame you. It's your money. It's your life savings. You worked hard for it. People get emotional over things like that they take ownership and they've seen grow up. I'm like that with my kids. We're like that with our spouses, our friends. We're like that when it happens when there's maybe some legal trouble, tax trouble, whatever it may be. Most people don't represent themselves. They don't want to be involved. They want to create that layer between them, the goal, and the issue that stands in the middle of that goal. This is why it's important to talk to a financial professional. And as a fee-only advisor, less than 2% of the industry, that only gets paid if somebody hires them, not to give all your money, but not to sell a product that sounds so attractive. And when they realize it, like an annuity, by the way, when you all of a sudden you're like, man, I wish I didn't do that. I always ask, did you ask for that annuity? Oh, no, it was offered to me. They said I can't lose, and it's guaranteed money. Well, you started with like 100,000 and you have 102,000 and you had it for 6 years and the market has gone up much more than that. What happened? They have no clue because they've been sold a false narrative, and that's why you don't hear from the person that sold it to you. Quite frankly, they're probably not even there. They jump around a lot, by the way. Why? Because they can't come chasing after them. They switch firms. Smart, right? When you sell products that you don't believe in, when you think the short term. That's why here at Falcon Wealth, our advisors, our firm gets paid on a profit sharing basis. The company needs to do well. There are no commissions involved. Yeah, like I said, it's only 2% of the industry. All our advisors are salaried. That's very rare in this industry to have a salaried person working for them. Give us a call. We would love to help relate this show to your specific situation to make sure you understand the risks you're taking, if you're comfortable with them. And the only time you should sell is number one, when you made money, and number two, you're taking more risks than necessary. Give us a call. We would love to help. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird, or visit our website. There's it right there on the front page. That's falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, or you could just put an inquiry right there where we can help in your situation. Answer a few questions. We will reach out to you and give you 1 to 2 meetings, 1 to 2 hours at no cost, folks. I just want to be clear on this. As a majority of the industry, and I know a lot of advisors that are listening to this podcast as well, which I welcome you to. We try to help everybody, my colleagues included, just because there are some good advisors that are not fee only. Now, there could be inherent conflicts of interest. I get it. But at the same time, we made a choice to be fee only advisor because we wanted to be on the same side of the table as you. And just because less than 2% of the advisors do that, it's important and crucial for us to make sure we continue to have that relationship and that partnership where everybody wins. I said earlier, if you make 10%, we make 10%. And that's company-wide. But the same thing happens when you lose 10%. We lose 10% of our revenues as well. You're not happy just the same way we're not happy. Our goal is together to succeed, is together to make the right financial decisions. Because at the end of the day, it's not like you're handcuffed in a product you can't get out of, unlike other firms where you may buy an insurance product, an annuity, where you will lose your money. You will lose 5, 10, 20% of what you put in. Why? Because you just paid a 5, 10, 20% commission to get into that product for someone who told you, oh, you don't pay me, the insurance company pays me. Our industry is not the most transparent, and I apologize on behalf of that. But do you know what they say? Talk is cheap. That's why we acted and created Falcon Wealth, a fee-only firm where that is never an option. We earn our business every single day, folks. We would love to help in your financial situation, achieve your financial goals. Give us a call. Our phone number is 855 963 2526. That's 855 96 Falcon, like the bird. Folks, that was a fast show. I want to thank you for tuning in with us. You can always reach out to myself or any one of my colleagues here at Falcon Wealth Planning. Our phone number is 855 963 2526. That's 855 96 Falcon, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, where you can get this episode to any one of our previous episodes as well. Just look up more knowledge, more wealth. And then they have a great link to YouTube, which is our knowledge center that has 50 plus videos on there of just specific strategies that can help you in your financial situation. We have over 1 million views. Take advantage. We would love to help. Folks, I want you to have yourself a fantastic weekend. Have a great week, and God bless.